Hey guys, how you doing? Kind of unique setup for this video, but I'm on vacation, so I wanted to make a video. I had some thoughts on some things. I've learned a lot recently. Some people might be interested to know, what does Jimmy think about digital vehicle inspections? Stay tuned. Alright guys, I've been doing this auto repair thing for 40 some odd years now, so yeah, I'm old, but I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of opinions, like a lot of you probably do. Some of you already lighten up the comments. I got a vibe, I can feel it. But I wanted to talk about the industry's use of digital vehicle inspections. Some people hate them, some people love them. I think most people are kind of in between, but obviously, like a lot of things, there's good and bad. It can be abused, things like that. That's the only real concern that I see with it. After I've learned a lot and see how useful they are for many reasons. A digital vehicle inspection, when done correctly by someone with integrity, lets the customer know the condition their car's in. Green checks, everything's great. Yellow, I think it's an exclamation point that's in a yellow square. That means it's borderline, something to start considering. And red means, man, you have a problem, you really need to address this, like now. And that is not something that a mechanic isn't selling you something. They are going to make money, they're going to make a living, but they're taking care of you. They're pointing out things that you actually need, and it's going to help you in the long run. Not too long ago, we had a customer with steel cord showing on his tires, and he declined them, and on his way home, one of the tires blew out, and then he said, you guys sabotaged my tires because I didn't buy them. Luckily, we had photographs and pictures of how bad the tires were, so that inspection actually protected us. And we don't make the tires wear out and cause the problems that we see. We point them out to you so that your vehicle is safe to drive and to help improve your vehicle's lifespan. You know, if someone needs a brake flush and a coolant flush and things like that, those can be put off a little bit more, but brakes, tires, even wiper blades, that's a safety factor. If your wiper blades are torn and shredded and there's pieces of wiper falling off of them when they go across the windshield, only cleans half of it, it's a good idea for $22 or whatever it is to put some wiper blades on your car. The mechanic's making me buy wiper blades. No, the mechanic is pointing out the fact that you've neglected your wiper blades for so long that they're no longer functioning properly. So it's a good idea to replace them. Even if you do it yourself, take the notes from that DVI, head to the auto parts store, put them on yourself if you want to save the $10. Because good service costs a little bit more than self-service. You used to even get discounts on gasoline. Back in the day when I started pumping gas, if you bought self-service gas, it was 5 or 10 cents less a gallon because you did it yourself. The product was the same, and if you do it correctly, then the results are the same. But you do have to know what you're doing a little bit. Wiper blades even can be complicated on some cars nowadays. They're hidden under a cowl. You have to hold the wiper switch to get them to come up halfway, that kind of thing, but that's a separate video. But as far as the digital vehicle inspections, you know, I see people online, they're going to just sell you a bunch of stuff. Well, if the technician that's doing the inspection is honorable, he's going to point out stuff that hasn't been done that maybe other shops haven't told you about, and he's going to help you make sure your vehicle's safe. If your car's in great shape and you've been taking care of it, and the person that's doing it has integrity, the list of things you're going to need is going to be very small, or maybe even nothing. He'll be able to say, man, your vehicle's in great shape, you're taking good care of it, keep it up. You know, when you're in the business of auto repair, it's a really difficult market, because first of all, everyone assumes mechanics are thieves, and like I've said in other videos, your occupation doesn't make you a thief. Whether you're a thief or not, doesn't matter where you work. You could be a lawyer, a doctor, a politician, a mechanic, a construction worker, whatever, and you can be a thief. Quick example, we got an estimate for windows. My house had the original windows and they were looking pretty bad. We got an estimate from one company, it was $36,000. We got an estimate from a second company, it was $9,600. So consider for yourself which way we went. And does that make the $36,000 company a thief? I think that's way aggressive, even if they have a fantastic product and they're considered one of the best companies in the industry. That's just a little too much. 3 times what other companies are charging. Define it how you like. I call it aggressive pricing, but in the end, it's up to the consumer to decide if they want to go that way or not. They can change their minds and go a different direction if they want, right? A lot of times if your DVI looks kind of strange to you and there's way too many things on there and you think you've been taking care of your car, go get a second opinion. There's no harm in going to another location and seeing if they give you the same DVI. The only concern with that is if it does turn out to be the same DVI, then it takes a little effort to go back to the original place that you were verifying they were doing it right. But if you're going there most of the time and that's where your history is and that's where all your warranties are for any repairs you've done over the years, then I would go back to the original place that gave you the estimate, just because it seems like the right thing to do to me. A lot of times though, if people get second opinions, they just fix it while they're there. And then it kind of defeats the purpose of verifying what the first shop showed you, but that's everyone's prerogative. You do things how you want. I tend to be more loyal. If I get an estimate from somebody for something and then I get a second estimate and it's the same, I'm probably going to go back to the first person that I wanted to use an effort to begin with. But that's just how I do it. DVIs can be a double-edged sword too, because nowadays we go back to the mechanics being thieves thing. We have to do DVIs basically to protect ourselves from some customers. Luckily it's not many, it's a very small percentage, but boy, nowadays people that they're driving these cars that most of them probably aren't safe to be on the road. And in Florida there's no state inspections. So that DVI list is so long and there's so many problems on that vehicle, it's probably not safe to be on the road, but we can't stop them from driving it. Luckily though, we have that inspection that categorizes everything where it belongs as far as problems go. So heaven forbid something does happen with that car going down the road, we remove liability from ourselves because the customer's not taking care of their car, and then probably usually the same kind of person that's going to come back to you and blame you if something goes wrong with their car. So you have it on the list and said, look, I saw this was a problem. We try to take pictures of really egregious problems. If a tie rod end is moving a quarter of an inch back and forth, it's about to separate. You take a picture or even a short video of that showing how bad it is, because something's probably going to happen with it. They're going to drive their car until it has to be towed back. It's just one of those things. People are either really cheap, don't have the money, or they just don't believe you, and the last 3 shops have told them and they don't believe them, and then all of a sudden it comes apart and then they're mad. Another reason mechanics have a bad reputation, people get mad about stuff that happens that mechanics have nothing to do with. The mechanics don't engineer and design the cars, and mechanics don't make them quite so complicated, and the mechanics don't own the vehicle. The mechanics can't force the maintenance to be done if you don't want to do it. So the vehicle's lifespan can be shortened because of all that. But the DVIs, they take a little time. That's one of the only concerns in the industry. Some shops will not pay you for a DVI. It's just considered a free inspection and you don't get paid for your time. And to do a DVI thoroughly and correctly is probably a good 15-20 minutes. Some vehicles it can take longer, some vehicles it's a little shorter, but I've gotten to where I can do most of them in about 15 minutes or so. Boy, I've found some problems on customers' cars that I probably wouldn't have looked at otherwise. Like a cabin filter that's plugged full of leaves and pollen and all kinds of debris, so the blower fan's working at about half speed. If you have allergies and stuff, those cabin filters, it's not something that someone is selling you to make a fortune, because what are they, $20 or $30 most of the time, and some of them are another $20 or $30 to install because they're a little more difficult. But if you have allergies and sensitivities, cabin filters can make a big difference on your experience driving your vehicle, especially in the spring. So keep that in mind too. Tires, 3/30 seconds is when the inspection bar on your tires touch. So anytime under around 5/30 seconds, the tires start to be compromised in wet weather like we get here in Florida. It rains almost every day, especially in the summer. Your tires are down under 5/30 seconds and you just hit 5/30 seconds of standing water, your car can hydroplane. So people will recommend you tires and you'll be like, well, it's not really bad. It's not bald yet. It's not touching the inspection bar. Well, if you don't do them right, then it's something to consider. Be aware, be more cautious in the rain. Your tires are low, right? So like I said too, I just wanted to make this video that, you know, people think that the mechanics are just selling me stuff. You know, well, if it's things that you actually do need and they've been overlooked, then you should be pretty grateful that they're trying to help you out. Are they going to make money? Sure. That's the business. You're repairing cars, making a living, paying the bills, paying your overhead, paying your very expensive master technicians. So it's all about your perspective and what angle you look at it from. It's the same exact thing that's happened. They inspected your vehicle, they found whatever it is on this list. Now, some people are going to take that same exact thing and go, oh, they're ripping me off. And some people are going to go, well, thank goodness you found those things. The other shops I've been to haven't seen them or pointed them out. So like I said, as long as it's being done with integrity and it's an accurate inspection, that's the number one thing. Keep that in mind whenever you go somewhere to get your car looked at and they give you this inspection. If you've got that long list, and the only thing to determine at that point is, have a lot of these things been overlooked? Or is this place being way too aggressive and you need to get a second opinion? So that's it on the DVIs. That's my perspective. Put things down that you might be concerned with in the comments. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of people have tons of very passionate opinions on the subject. So thanks for watching. Torque the like button before you head out. Really appreciate that. You're awesome.